So Paul says, if you're going to live in a relationship of love, you can't indulge the sinful nature. You can't indulge your selfishness. Well, we've talked about surrender. We've talked about purpose. Now a third word, it's discipline. You see, if you're going to surrender to God's will, if you're going to take up His purpose, you need discipline. A disciplined person inserts habits into their life that they are committed to repeat again and again and again and again and again. I want to read you a passage. It may surprise you when I read it, that really gets to the heart of one of the primary disciplines of a healthy, godly family. Let me read. For you were called to freedom, but do not use your freedom to indulge the sinful nature, but rather serve one another in love. For the whole law is fulfilled in one word: you shall love your neighbor as yourself. But if you keep on biting and devouring one another, watch out, or you will be consumed by one another. You are called to be free. Now listen to these words, they're careful, they're important. Do not use your freedom to indulge the sinful nature. What is he talking about? Well, when I indulge something, what is it that I do? If I'm sitting at Thanksgiving and I'm indulging my appetite, you know that I'm not just having one helping. I'm having helping after helping after helping until I've gotten myself to the point of being uncomfortable. And I go in to watch football and I immediately fall asleep because I've eaten too much. Well, that's what I'm talking about. It's indulging something means you feed it. You go where it leads you. Now, second word, indulge the sinful nature. There is sin still living inside of me. Paul says, don't indulge the sin that still lives inside of you. Now think about this. What is that sin about? Well, 2 Corinthians 5:15 tells us when it says Jesus came so that those who live would no longer live for themselves. I say this a lot. The DNA of sin is selfishness. So Paul says, if you're going to live in a relationship of love, you can't indulge the sinful nature. You can't indulge your selfishness. Wow. You could write a whole book just on what that looks like. But let me say it this way, because I think it's important to remember. A good family is a good family because people in that family say no. Let me say that again. A good family is a good family because people in that family say no. Now don't get me wrong, not no to one another, but no to themselves. You see, that's the discipline. I've got to be willing in purpose and surrender to say no to me. Because see, as long as sin still lives inside of me, I'm going to think things that I shouldn't think. I'm going to desire things that I shouldn't desire. I'm going to experience raging, dangerous emotions that I must not indulge. Because if I go wherever my thoughts lead me, if I go wherever my desires lead me, if I go wherever my emotions lead me, I'm going to do damage to my relationship. I've got to say no and turn purposely and go in another direction. Now you say, Paul, that's impossible. How do I do that? Well, God knew how hard that would be for you. God knew how impossible that is for every one of us. He understands your inability. So here's what He's done. He didn't just forgive you. He's literally now, as you are His child, He's unzipped you and gotten inside of you. So think about this. The power and presence of the Holy Spirit of God now lives inside of you. Now unto him who is able to do exceedingly more than anything you ask or imagine, according to his power that lives where? Within us. So God's Spirit lives within me. So at all those moments, I need to say no to wrong thoughts, no to wrong desires, no to raging dark emotions. I have the power to turn and go in another direction. God hasn't left us without help. That's how great his grace is. I would ask you this question. Husbands and wives, when in the last couple of weeks should you have said no to you and you didn't? Parents, in your parenting, when should you have said no to you, no to wrong thoughts, no to wrong desires, no to raging emotions, and turn in another direction, and you didn't? A good family is a good family because people in that family are committed to the discipline of saying no to themselves, refusing to indulge the sinful nature, living in the power of the Holy Spirit to do that, and now because of that, free to love.